Okay, hi everybody. My name is Rachel. This is the unofficial NAMP for Noobs chat or hangout. Um, trying to allow chat, at least. I tried to do the Q&A feature, but it wasn't, said it was disabled. So there's me saying hello. It is being recorded and will be available on YouTube at least for the next couple of weeks. I may take it down after that, we'll see. So today I'm going to do 3 different things. First, I'm going to talk about stuff you can do now before the conference begins. Second, I'm going to be talking about what to bring with you. And third, I'll be talking about what to do at the event, at the conference. First things first, we're talking about the National Arts Marketing Project Conference, which this year, 2014, is in Atlanta, which happens to be my hometown, so I'm very excited about it. My name is Rachel Soprati. I'm currently the general manager of the Atlanta Chamber Players, but this will be my 3rd NAMP conference. I went to the past ones in Charlotte and in Portland. I had various different jobs and I was in school. This will be my first conference as the general manager of ACP. But, so NAMP is run by Americans for the Arts, which is important to know. And the all-important name and hashtag is NAMPC, which stands for National Arts Marketing Project Conference. But everyone pretty much just calls it NAMP. You will hear NAMPC occasionally, but pretty much just everyone calls it NAMP. Let me just adjust. I want to say if anyone's joining us now, please feel free to use the chat and ask a question or make a comment, and I'll try to address that as we go along. So things you can do now to prepare for the conference. The very first thing is if you haven't, download the Guidebook app. You have to go to your app store on your phone and search for Guidebook, download that app, and then once you have the app, you search for NAMPC. Make sure you get the 2014 one and you download the specific conference app. That information will be updated before and during the conference. All the information in it, you won't have to like update the app in order to see that stuff. The Guidebook app is super helpful if you actually use it. So you can go into it and actually choose what sessions you plan to attend, and then it'll show up as like a My Schedule tab on the app, which is hugely helpful. The number of times you will hear someone ask you, what session are you going to, or is just innumerable. So I really highly recommend you go into the app and go ahead and make your choices about what sessions you're going to attend. It's also really helpful because when you meet someone cool and they want to get coffee or they want to do whatever, or you hear about some other thing going on, you want to quickly be able to say, oh, it's at 2 o'clock on Saturday. What was I planning to do at that time? And, is it worth missing it to do this other thing? Or when do I have free? So I would just really, really recommend you go ahead and do that. You can also see who the exhibitors are, who the sponsors are, but the schedule thing is the big thing. Next up, for things you can do ahead of the conference is look at the attendee list. This was emailed out along with the Know Before You Go email that you got from NAMP. There'll be a link, and it's a PDF file of everyone who is attending. There'll be 3 different ones. There's one for each pre-conference, and then there's a separate one for the main conference. If you're attending the pre-conference, look at those. If you're not, just look at the main conference. It's a really long document, but I recommend going through it person by person and, circling or writing down, making note of anyone that you think you'd like to meet while you're there. Whether that be people who are in your area that you don't know yet, or people who are in your genre. If you're like me, if there's a chamber music person, I want to meet them. If you're an opera or ballet, museum, whatever, or if it's just someone that you have heard of and think is amazing, like make a note of it. If it's someone that you have a legitimate connection with, or a real important question that you'd like to ask, their contact information is there. Go ahead and reach out and say, hey, I see you're going to NAMP. I'm going to be there. You know, I'd love to talk to you about X. Do you want to get coffee or whatever? Don't be afraid to do that, but only do it. Don't do it to just anyone you think sounds cool. I would only contact someone ahead of time if there's someone that you really have a connection with. Like, oh, you know, if you have like a collaboration you'd like to do with their organization, something like that, go ahead. The next thing to do is, if you are not on Twitter personally, I mean, if you control your organization's Twitter, that's great. But if you don't have a personal account, join. I'm dead serious. I mean, even if you hate it, even if you never want to, if you can delete it after NAMP, I don't care. Join, get a personal Twitter account. Make sure you get, you upload like an avatar or, you know, a headshot or something, so that you're not on Twitter, it's like it's a little egg. And if you're that, people will think that you might be a spam account or something like that. But even if you've never done it before, join. Everyone at NAMP is obsessed with Twitter during the conference. If you follow the hashtag NAMPC right now, there's a lot going on, but that will ramp up just exponentially during the conference and also in the days following. Every session you go to will have its own hashtag. I encourage you to use it. Be strategic. If you're tweeting something that you think is super amazing that everyone should know, use the session hashtag and the NAMP hashtag. But in general, you just want to use the session that you're in if you're talking about something specifically topical to that session. And that can be whether it's just like a particular interesting fact, or if you have a question related to it, you can tweet that, because people will follow people in other sessions will follow your session's hashtag because they're interested in both topics. It gets really crazy, but it's fun, I assure you. And I'll talk more about how to use Twitter a little bit later, but just join, just do it, trust me. Another thing you want to do is create some sort of system for how you plan to collect people's information that you want to follow up with after. Whether it's just like this pad of paper I'm going to use for that fact, or I'm going to collect their business card and put them in this particular pocket when I want to actually follow up, as opposed to somebody you just throw away after. But have some kind of system, because you're just going to end up, I mean, I've been guilty of this. This is coming from a place of experience. You know, you'll meet someone, they'll have information you want. They'll be like, oh, send me an email and I'll send you the PDF. It'll be super easy. And then you forget and you find their business card 3 months later and you feel like it's probably too late now. But so it's really important to just in advance come up with a system, because you are going to meet a lot of amazing people. Another thing to do with that is go in right now and schedule time next week, like put in an hour on Tuesday that you're going to spend following up for NAMP. So you're going to be sending LinkedIn requests to join, you know, you're going to be emailing people who asked you to reach out to them, or you're going to be emailing people that you asked for things to remind them. Like, just literally schedule time now. You will thank yourself later if you do that. Last thing to do before you come is decide on what your overall strategy for the conference is. Some people come because they really, you know, they have something very specific about their organization. I need to grow the diversity of my audience, or I need to increase ticket sales. Or some people, it's more personal. I want to, you know, meet people and promote my own personal brand, or I want to find people that could be potential mentors for me, or I want to meet other people in my region, or I want to meet other people in my genre of work, or, you know, whatever it is. And you could do literally all of those things at this conference, but you should go in with one, like, if you could only do one thing, what would it be? And keep that in mind. That's going to really help you. You're just going to be bombarded with a lot of different choices to make of, should I go to this session or this session? Should I meet this person or that person? Should I sit at this table or talk to that person? Whatever. And if you have that overarching, like, okay, my number one goal is to, meet people from my state. So that's what I need to do. So I would definitely think in advance about what that is. So next step is what you need to bring with you physically to NAMP. And that water bottle, which was included in that know before you go. I'm sorry if I keep looking down because I have notes. That water bottle that they mentioned in the know before you go, that's important. There'll be water in all the sessions, but typically the glasses are like the world's tiniest cups you've ever seen. And it's just easier to have a bottle that closes so that you can throw it in your bag, or you can put it on the ground, and it's not going to fall over. And it's just a really good idea to have a water bottle. Phone charger. For the love of all things, bring your phone charger. Bring your laptop charger. If you have a friend that has one of the standalone charging things, so you charge it up, and then you don't have to plug in your phone. You can plug it into the standalone thing. Get it, borrow it, beg, borrow, steal, whatever. Don't steal. You're going to be like this the entire conference, and your phone will die, and you will wish that it wasn't dead. So I highly recommend getting one of those if you can. I know in the past I've brought my laptop basically as a phone charger. I don't take notes on my laptop. I just used it to charge my phone. I don't really recommend that, but it's done. You want to bring business cards for sure. If you don't have a business card, get one, make one, buy the little things and print your own, or go to Office Depot or Staples or Kinko's and just print some that have, your personal information, whatever it is. If you're a student, that I've brought personal ones the past 2 years, and I'm super, super thankful every time. This time I'm actually going to be bringing both my personal card and my business card, which if you have, I also recommend. Sometimes you meet people and you really just think that they're cool and you want to be friends with them, and you don't really want them to email you at work. But whatever, it's just really, really good idea to have a business card. Everyone's going to be asking you for it. You're going to kick yourself if you don't have one. Lastly, things to bring with you is brochures for your organization. If you have one, nothing too big. You don't need too many. This isn't something you're just going to be handing out to everyone that you meet, but you'll probably meet someone who's interested in finding out more about your organization. It's just a really good idea to have a few with you. That could end up being a funder or a potential donor, or someone who just wants to come and see your show, whatever, but you should have some with you. So that's the last thing I'm going to talk about is at the event. Practical advice from someone who wishes they'd gotten this advice before my first time. So first thing is dine-arounds. There are going to be 2 dine-arounds this year, one Friday evening and one Sunday evening. Sign up for both of them. Just sign up. They're fantastic. They're a perfect way to meet people, especially if it's your first time and you don't already know people. They'll have them of all kinds of different topics. I'm hosting one about social media. I'm actually hosting it both Friday and Sunday. So, if you like social media, come to mine. But when they have the signups they change it every year. So when you register, ask, where can I sign up for dine-arounds? When can I sign up for dine-arounds? Last year, they had the signups earlier than they had, and I missed it. Many people missed it. They will also fill up. So ask every AFTA employee you see until you find out when they're going to be, and then go and sign up. If you miss the signups, it's not the end of the world. Last year, like I said, I missed the signups, and guess what I did? I used Twitter, and I found 10 or 12 different people, and we all hosted our own unofficial dine-around because we had all missed the sign-up. And I literally just went and was like, oh, I found people who I thought were cool from what they had been tweeting, and I just tweeted at them and said, hey, do you want to go to a dine-around with me? It was that easy. And everyone was like, yes, absolutely. And they invited other people, and it was absolutely fantastic. But I do just recommend signing up if you can. Brings us to our next piece of advice, which is talk to everyone. Now, this is a group of arts marketers, so most of us are very extroverted. Not everyone is, so we understand when you're introverted, but try your best to just be open to meeting new people and reach out to other people. whether it's the person sitting next to you or whether it's just the person you're in the elevator with, or like, don't be afraid to talk to them, ask them what they do, ask them where they're from, ask them what they're there for, and get to know people. Everyone is super open, and you just don't know what kind of amazing person you're going to run into, because there are so many amazing people at this conference. Next tip is to attend as much of the events as you possibly can. You know, there'll be, for instance, on Saturday, there's like an opening party on Saturday evening. You know, it's going to have been a long day. You're probably going to be tired. Go, just do it. You know, if you have to take a short nap in between, go for it. But I really recommend trying to go to everything you possibly can go to. You know, make yourself get up in the morning and go to the morning sessions. Like, it's just, there's so much that goes on, and you're there for such a short period of time. It's not one of these conferences where like, oh, no one really goes to this because it's, you know, morning or it's boring, or like, everyone is just everywhere. So I really recommend trying to attend as much as you possibly can. With the exhibitors, there are lots of exhibitors. They'll have their tables. They'll be there pretty much the entire time, both days. You do want to visit and talk with them, but you need to be strategic. So there's a lot of like graduate school programs. If you're considering going to graduate school, absolutely talk to them. If you aren't considering going to graduate school, or you've already been to graduate school, don't waste your time. They're really nice people, but don't waste your time. A lot of the exhibitors are going to be there with products. If you don't have the responsibility in your organization to make a decision about such products, like if it's a content relation, you know, customer relation management system, there'll be several of those, or people who are selling, you know, mobile apps or digital this and that. If you're not in a place of decision making for those, you know, you just need to be strategic about who you speak with. I've made the mistake of signing up for, some of them will have like special receptions, and they, you know, get free drinks and all this stuff. But in the end, it's like half an hour, 45 minutes of my time that I wish I had spent in a more strategic way, meeting people that would be more useful to me. That being said, I always talk to all the exhibitors because I'm a weirdo. So I don't even take my own advice, but I try to keep it to a reasonable level. Like if they have, because I always find something that I didn't know existed, and that's really interesting to me. So I'm going to get to Twitter last. One last tip about attending some of the luncheons or the breakfasts, or they'll have all these tables and they'll put little signs on them, and you can sit wherever you want. So there'll be specific states or regions, like the North, you know, Pacific Northwest, or there'll be dance companies, or there'll be small businesses, and there'll be audience development. They'll have different things that you're supposed to kind of like talk about. Those are great, but be strategic, again, about which table you sit at. If your main goal is to meet people in your region, then sit at your state's table, your region's table. If your main goal is to meet people in your genre, then sit at that table. You know, so don't just sit where, oh, I like that one person, so I'm going to sit with them. Really think about what's going to be most valuable for you professionally. I missed when I was talking about dine-arounds. They're also going to have one-on-one coaching sessions that you can sign up for. Absolutely sign up for those. Now, unfortunately, they take place at the same time as the roundtable discussions. I'm hosting a roundtable discussion about using advocacy tactics to develop your audience. But usually what they do with the roundtables is they run twice. So it'll be like, overall will take an hour and a half, but they'll be like 45 minutes and 45 minutes. And your coaching sessions will only be like 20 minutes. So you can usually get to both things. But I really recommend the one-on-one coaching if someone, you know, as long as it's relevant. I mean, don't just sign up if you don't have anything to ask them. But do sign up, and sign up early, because the slots will fill up. So lastly, I want to just talk a little bit about Twitter. As I've said, people use it constantly. It's a really, like, I can't overstate how important it is for the conference and how important it is for making connections with people. You can make social plans with people at the conference on Twitter. You can make professional appointments with people using Twitter. You can reach out to people that you know, speakers. Most of them will be on there, and they will be active. And so if you have a question, like, ask them. Don't be shy. Really don't be shy. Be a little bit careful about when you use the NAMP hashtag. If you're replying at someone, don't use it unless it's something that would be interesting for other people to see, because everyone's going to be following the hashtag. So if you are writing to someone to say, hey, do you want to get coffee tomorrow morning? Don't use the hashtag. That's, you know. But if you're writing to someone and you're like, hey, who wants to get coffee? And you also want, you know, specifically this person, but it's open to everyone, then go ahead. But just try not to overuse it when it's something that not everyone, it's just going to be taking up space in their feed. You want to be a good Twitter citizen. But it really is kind of the way that everyone keeps in touch and finds out what's going on at the conference. So that, I think we've taken up almost an entire half hour. For anyone, I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and close things up. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. It's at RCIP, R-O-T-T-I. It's my last name, Rachel Soprati. So it's R Soprati. And ask me questions, or like let's hang out for sure at NAMP. I love this conference so much, and I can't wait to meet many of you there. So see you in Atlanta.